that you believe we should feature on the show, be direct through to my social media platforms, preferably Facebook as well as Instagram. Send me a DM and we'll be happy to actually follow some of your leads. We also appreciate the feedback that we've been receiving about the personalities that we've brought on Trendsetters. Thank you so much. Continue to give us that amazing feedback. So we're here listening to the story of Jaza Discounter. Oh my God, the man himself, Willie Kimani, is in the house. He's told us the story about how it all started, the dream. Now let's get into a couple of tips about how to get started on that dream job or that dream activity that you've always had in mind. And this is the thing, Willie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
I want to talk to you from a personal perspective about how you managed to jump into the unknown. Very many of us are stuck in, what you'd call deadbeat jobs, or have this very mundane kind of cycle every single day because we just don't know how to break free. And for you to actually decide, you know what? I have this huge brand called Naivas that has had me manage, and they've entrusted me on a managerial level to break free and to start your own thing. Tell us how you managed to do that. How did you just decide, you know what, this is it?
Actually, it's that bit of having proper mentors.
Yeah.
And at time when you have mentors who push you and tell you, hey, you're now getting past the age of where you can't go back and all sorts of things.
Right.
You'll be able to discuss this thing and all that. And there's a change that you can be able to do. That's one bit. But also at the same time, getting off the comfort zone and just saying, at times you have to believe in something.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, and just say, I know, as in, why are Kenyans paying this much? If I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then put the thoughts together in form of a business plan.
Yeah. And
when you actually get that business plan, hit it on your head as much as possible. The number of times I've actually gone to Nairobi National Park, just out there with my laptop and just looking at the business plan again, go back again.
Really?
Just checking out, this one, no, and all that. And then also getting other believers like you.
Right.
And actually that is where now you're going out and just asking guys, please, can you join me in this journey?
Yeah.
It's going to be a costly affair. It might mean you actually living what you actually believe in, and you also investing in this what you believe in. And when you actually get that proper movement, now you start that whole holistic movement. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and especially when, to be honest, it's when you have a young family or something like that, and it's the same time when you also looking at the market is not, the dollar was actually just
shooting up.
Investors were actually flying out of the country. Oh, every day you'll actually hear this investor's gone, this other investor's gone, this other so even the whole market goes. Then you go back and say, oh, no, who knows me well? It's the Kenyan investors. Let me talk with, there are also the Kenyan investors who know when I'm talking about pipeline, what pipeline means. These investors clearly know when I'm actually talking about the cost of living. They already have their own employees who are complaining of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then together bringing that particular dream. But I love to say, before making a move, before doing everything, just get to use data. In my life, what I actually do is the 80-10-10.
Okay. And
the 80% rule is that before I make any decision, it has to be backed up 80% by data.
Okay.
10% always has to be historical. What happened before? Okay, so there was something. So what happened with this model before? Or has it ever been there?
Yeah.
Did it? What business actually happened? And then this other 10% is my initiation, which is like, but it can work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Meaning now you're clear, at least with the 90%, you're armed now, that even by the time you're presenting to someone else, you're like, okay, quite clearly there.
Yeah.
And at times it's not how it seems, because you might actually think and believe that I land with this product in Kayole and it will be the best thing ever.
Yeah.
How do you know? Go there. Guys have been eating before you came. It's not like you're coming to sort. No. They have been buying. This is
not some revolution.
They've been buying, but you know how to tell the story.
Yeah.
You have to be very clear.
Right.
So where exactly this is. So you also have to back up with the fact that you have to have ways of telling that story, and you also have to buffer yourself. Right. After how long will you start making sense before any of these things actually meet up? But one particular point you just have to put fear behind and say, by the way, failure is not an option. I'm jumping into this, and we are going to make this work.
Yeah.
And now just go all out and just say, hey, guess what? Niko kwa soko sasa. Because anyway, guess what? There are very many brands that were there. Look at K24.
Yeah.
Look at Equity. Look at M-Pesa. The time M-Pesa, it's 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
It was
Look
not
at what
there.
it has become now.
Look at what it's become now.
Yeah.
And then also what's happening out there in the market. Walmart is actually backing the bodega model in Central America. The biggest #1 retailer in Turkey is Beam.
Yeah.
Similar model. In Germany, Aldi, Lidl.
Yeah.
Same here same thing. In South Africa the other day, by the way, Pick n Pay has their Boxer brand.
Oh,
Pick n Pay was not profitable. Boxer was. And the same thing's happening in South Africa. It's not like it's any different here.
Yeah.
Why? Guys are now beginning to say, hey, by the way, I will need some saving. So you actually find the Boxer brand is profitable. The Pick n Pay brand is not. They'll talk about load shedding and everything else, but the reality of the matter is there's a shift.
Yeah, there's something I've picked up from what you said, and I'm picking this vibe from you that it's never a problem to fail.
Yeah.
You sound like the type of person, if it's not working, dump it, rebrand yourself, reboot, and pick up again.
Exactly.
Wow.
If this site is not working, don't keep on wasting time. This thing of holding on into legacy issues. Oh, I think no. If it's not working, let's move on.
Yes.
Let's shut down that store. Let's move on.
Wow.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And you just move on. Actually, start.
So your failures are your learning curves.
Yes.
They're your learning lessons.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But at the same time, and especially during the startup, you don't have time to experiment. If you're already on a live environment. Yeah. You're already on an environment that is telling you, no, this brand is not going to work. We need a cheaper brand. Then bring in that cheaper brand and remove this particular brand. You're trying to make guys use only one, your Jazza brand only on this one. They're saying, no, there is no... Listening to the customer, being customer centric is possibly the most important thing you can ever do, especially when you have when you're in retail. You have to be like, what exactly are the customer saying? Okay, they're not happy with this. Quickly change, quickly not do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take this other particular, start that whole, and that is exactly what I want to do. You're taking the Costco model bit, like you're just about to introduce a very nice card out here. Okay. Not for points, but giving actual.
Because this point story,
I want to give you your money there. If you want to keep your money with me, it's okay, but you'll be knowing clearly this is your money that you can use anywhere, any other time, and you actually can come and have it. But I'm going to give you that instant discount, that tumalizane. Right. Yeah, and you have it. Yeah. And so if you want me to keep it for you, it's okay. But whatever you have is that card has your true value, and that's the whole idea of what you're trying to do. Do things different. Yeah. And I know guys say think outside the box, but what can we think internally in the box differently?
Right. It's a very cliche thing to say, think outside the box, but have you perfected what's on the inside first?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's some things to actually just change and actually do. So, and I'm happy that our suppliers are loving this. Okay. We have kept the promise 6 months down the line, paid them all cash. We have kept a promise. Everybody's actually, you can actually see people are happy with the repeat customers and all sorts of things. The guys who have actually just realized it's like a hidden true thing. Hey, by the minute Jaza and all that. And we are loving that because even by doing it, we are seeing other people now starting to think, hey, if this small brand is doing this, we big brands, why can't we be able to start doing this? And I'm seeing the big boys also starting to react. Oh, really? Yeah, I saw someone trying to do something with milk the other day. Yeah. I saw someone and they're trying to come up the exact price points as what Jazza is doing. Yeah. And that means one thing, the Kenyan customer starts enjoying better. Yeah. Of course. So even by doing this, if you're not going to make other retailers start rethinking, why are we keeping so much margin? Right. Why can't we reduce our margin? Okay, the cost of living is gone up. What are we doing genuinely for our people? You know, and that is exactly, so Jazza is doing this. Good, copy it. Let's go. Let's go on the journey. We'll actually remember that when Sort of Zakawa Shuka. Where Shukisha Bay.
Where Shuka. And you know, it sounds like there's a sweet spot to all of this. I mean, what really does warm your heart at the end of the day? You know, you've talked about you being a game changer. You can see other people now starting to pay attention to your model within your industry. But what really, you know, gives you that fulfillment when you get home and you're like, wow, you know what? This is it.
Yeah, first of all, nice seeing the boys there, and also things actually warms your heart, and of course seeing my wife's India and all that. Always happy to actually be a family man. But more importantly is that bit when you go into the social media and just say, hey, tutaka pia jaza Kitengela, you know.
Yeah. People asking, they want it.
They want it. By the way, actually, so this is actually a nice product. That happiness of just seeing people in there. The other day, one of the employees just wrote me a message. He's an ex-Nakumat employee, and he was like, I never thought that we'll actually start creating that whole new retail environment, different, but with some centrism of the service and all that. He clearly never saw it coming, and guess what? He's employed now in Jaza, and he's emulating the same, and I'm happy about that.
That's great.
Yeah, so
because
it makes me...
Yeah, there's a lot of humanity in the work that you do. When you place the human at the center of it all, it gives it a lot of meaning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it also gives you another sleepless nights, because you'll be there sleeping, and then you're like, what is the price of sugar next week? I've made another promise. You know, when Nakumat said you need it, you've got it. Yeah. Then Shiko needs to get it.
Yes.
Now for me, I've said it's always low prices. That typically means I have to negotiate on an everyday bit. So all those things, I mean, otherwise you're actually going to operate on a negative. And that means you're always working, you're always negotiating, you're always doing these things and all that, and thinking ahead. And that's some of the things that just keep you up and running and just saying, and when you get it and you achieve it, and that evening you're just going there and I'm like, wow. Yeah. Today I've had a good day.
Wow, I love it. I love it. You know, customer satisfaction. And you don't trust Kenyans to always be bullying people. You know, when Nakumat had actually shut down, I remember Kenyans saying, oh, the elephant has left the building. Yeah. I mean, it was so crazy. But, you know, I love the confidence that you have going forward. Let's talk a little bit about legacy, shall we, Willie? Because one thing we have to love about our Asian community is how they are able to sustain the longevity of a brand. You look at things like Broadway's, Copycat. These are companies that have been open for decades, Mabati Rolling Mills, and so many others. So for you, what exactly is your legacy plan for Jaza?
I want this brand to do what the founding father of this country, Jomo Kenyatta, wanted when he founded Uchumi. Okay. Because he was actually the person actually behind.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes. They actually sat as like a group of that story. Someone needs to tell it. The Uchumi story needs to be retold again.
I know.
And that's why the love of that brand existed for the longest. And there was something that was needed, was to promote local culture, local production, but also more importantly was for Kenyans to own. And to date, Uchumi shares are trading. I want one day to actually look back and just say, you can actually clearly see, hey, Jaza is actually trading, Kenyans are actually enjoying, people manufacture for Jaza, Jaza is actually giving. I want this to be the Kenyan brand. The name Jaza alone is as Kenyan as it can be. Right? As in by the time guys were like, ulipata jina Jaza,
that's the only thing you came up with. You're like, but I know why.
We want this to be for every Kenyan. That every Kenyan can actually just say, hey, guess what? This is our brand. We grew it from nothing. We own it. We can actually dictate how we want it. And we feel like that movement is what I would like one day. That my grandkids and all sorts of things can see some and say, hey, guess what? Grandpa with his friends founded this. And this is actually what exactly it actually looks in now. For me, that satisfaction of Kenyans owning it, you know, the love that they actually had for Uchumi as a brand, the trust that they had for Nakumat products and all that, the freshness that they loved of the Tuskys bread and all those things. Bring that all together and just bring something that you can give Kenyans and say, this is Jaza brand.
What do you think is ailing the retail industry today when you look at all the fallen? You know, sad. Where did they get it wrong? Because there's a lot of promise, like you said, to Kenyans that, you know, we'll be here, we'll deliver freshness, we'll be able to give you variety, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, not too many years pass, and then we hear of rumors there's some investor abroad who's injected billions to save a particular brand, but it doesn't really go anywhere. What do you think is actually ailing?
So I'm going to put it in A and B. A part, first of all, how is the retail industry doing? The retail industry is not struggling in this market. Any branch that any person closed has been taken over by someone else. What you have actually seen is the Naivas has grown. When Tuskys actually left the market, and also when Nakumat left, most of the sites Carrefour actually came in. Quick Match has actually grown in Lip and Bound. Clean Chef has been opening stores. Magunas has actually been opening even way much more stores and all that. Retail in Kenya is not struggling. Retailers have struggled individually. So that whole blanket bit is a no. And that's why when people start saying, hey, retailers are not paying. No, no, no. It's not retailers are not paying. It's retailer X is not paying. And so why have they not, why the failures? One, corporate governance failures. There was a lot of corporate governance failures, especially when you actually look at, for example, people making key decisions that are off-route and all sorts of things. Expansion with short-term credit and also expanding too fast and also in places that don't matter. We saw Uchumi opening in Gulu. Gulu is in the border of Uganda and South Sudan. Yet there's no brand in Dagoretti. There's no Kangwari. There is nothing. As in, you have not even opened up. You have not even opened up in properly in Eldoret. And you're in the border. You know, Bungoma. But you have already crossed the border. You are in these other places. In not even in Kampala. Yes, we might have. But you have passed that and you've gone all the way till Gulu. And you're actually saying, hey, you're calling yourself. So some of those strategic decisions were actually wrong. Second thing is also, of course, lack of the strategy is also not working well. The unit if you've got it is a very expensive bit because Shiko likes chocolates that are coconut flavored. And it's there in the market and you'll actually get it. But that means I have to buy a dozen of those particular items. And when I actually buy the dozen of the dozen items, but it's only you who picks them 1, 2, 1, 2. At the end of the month, when I have to reorder a dozen, so that I make sure that when you come in, you get it. But what will I be paying that money with? I'll pay it with the milk money, the bread money and all that. So some of those strategies, up floor and second floor, did not work. And what you're seeing is people have really reduced on that particular bit. So that, and then using too much space. You had stores that were almost 150,000 square feet. Mega. So you're finding it's blue band from here mpaka huko, you know.
Like an entire room full of margarine. You're like, what's happening here?
Again, also shrinkage issues. Third, also using supplier money to expand instead of actually getting a proper financial model. And then lack of unit by unit profitability analysis, the one I talked about earlier. As in, if you continue just depending on one unit, then you'll actually be exposed quite fast when that unit actually collapses and stuff like that. So it's holistically, there are very many challenges, and you'll actually find, for example, corporate governance might not have cost Nakumat, might not have cost this other particular other person. This thing of family feuds or something like that might have actually cost person X rather than person Y. The strategy for a quick expansion or we've got all that might not be the same problem that Uchumi had and all that. And so you find that holistically what has happened is in fact, the other part is all the foreigners who actually came in, foreign companies, especially from South Africa, they're not customer-centric. But the moment you're actually giving a second-level tissues and selling them at premium price, and then you come in and in Nairobi and you put AC from one corner to the next corner, and then like a frozen food from here till the other place. And this is not a frozen market. If you don't understand the Kenyan customer, don't trying to bring South African ways of how people eat and all. We don't have winter. Our winter is like a baridi is not similar.
Of course, it's totally different.
There's Mama Mboga out there who is gonna give you the fresh whatever. We buy chicken fresh and then freeze.
Yeah.
We don't buy frozen chicken.
Right. This is the thing. Yeah, they're working the other way around.
So understanding Kenyans
the
also
market was an issue. Okay.
was an issue. So there's quite a lot of issues on what I can actually say has cost other brands.
Yeah.
And those learnings, we definitely have to take them. But most important, and of all of them, eventually it all ended up with cash flow management.
Okay.
If you can't be able to manage your cash flow management, you can't be able to plan. If you can't be able to do your getting things,
good point.
That's becomes very critical. And so cash flow management is at the center of everything.
And I think that also cuts across for all businesses and any entrepreneur who's watching. Cash flow management is a very, very big issue.
Yes.
In the next 5 minutes or so, you know, I just want us to, you know, go towards a very inspiration, like we close on an inspirational note, you know. But before that, how many workers do you have now?
I have 240.
240.
Yes.
Mental health issues is very big today, and you know, it's I mean, things like depression, anxiety are even being called chronic or classified as chronic diseases today. What do you do to encourage employees, help them by way with their, you know, just their well-being? How do you overlook, you know, or take care of their well-being of your 240 workers? Give us tips on how, you know, it's all done.
I have to tell the first and foremost thing that whenever we make mistakes is, you know, when, for example, you are creating a store and you want to see whether you're going to have music or not. And you're saying, no, customers will not like. But the first person who is actually listening to music from when they come in till the evening is actually your employee. It's his mood that you're actually setting. So the workplace environment and how you actually set it up, that's the first person you should actually be considering, because the way he'll actually do it is the same way he'll actually translate to the customer. All the way from the gun and all that. We have training sessions going on for pre-training.
Okay.
Today, Monday, we already have in the afternoon sessions for some newbies who are actually joining us again on the training, and we also include the older employees to actually pick up on the same.
Nice.
And but more importantly is that we have a helpline number that is completely anonymous, where one, we want people to tell us their problems or their key things or what challenges they can actually be, and also on the other side, on this side also, to help us also report on shrinkage and all that, so that guys can actually, because if I see my manager is actually misbehaving here, and if I just say it openly, I might be, so we are giving that particular platform whereby clearly the managers, they themselves know, if I don't do this, I'm actually going to bet. So an open channel communication where I think I get to see the messages directly helps a lot.
Knowing that they can actually just open up.
Yes.
That's
toxic
nice.
Working environment are some of the things that you have to say. They can actually bring your business down, and that's why we have to always say, we have to get things correct on this aspect.
Right. Yes. So for the young people who are watching, the Gen Zs who have represented us well.
Last week you did well.
They said, by the way, the revolution will not be televised. It will just be live on Instagram.
To be on your timeline.
It will be on your timeline. So what do you want to tell young people today? We have what we call the creative economy. We call it the orange economy because it's very fluid. It's about creativity and all that. What's your word if you were right now speaking to Gen Zs in Campo right now? I mean, what would be your parting shot?
I'm so happy, by the way. 70% of my workforce is actually Gen Zs.
Oh, wow.
Now, I've started also an internship, paid internship program, and I would like guys to actually apply for the same, because I want to be the place known for, you know what, as you're also working in campus, you can also be working in Jazza and actually making your extra shillings. That's what exactly I want. So at least that paid internship, as guys can actually enjoy and all that. I want to tell the Gen Zs and all that, you guys have woken us up, even we, the older folks and all that.
You're not that old, really. Okay.
But you're making changes. Changes. Continue doing what you're doing, but more importantly, keep us on check. Tell us when you actually go wrong with our brands. Tell us how you actually want it, you know, our work environment and stuff like that, and how things actually want to change. Be us. Yes.
And be that change.
Be that change. And guess what? What you actually want is exactly how things are actually going. As in, to be honest, all these new kina Airbnbs and kina Ubers, kina all the other guys, they all came in because of someone like you who said that right now in campus and just thinking, and that wild idea you think might actually not be working and all that,
yeah,
it might actually be the next thing that will actually save Kenya from something.
all right.
So you just never know.
Yeah.
So be you, do you, and Jazza is your brand.
Well said. Thank you so much for taking time to share your story. We really appreciate it. Even the fact that you decided you're not going to be known as William Willie. I see what you're doing right there. Just, you know, kicking it with the Gen Zs. Willie, cool guy.
I was my grandpa, by the way, but cool guy. Man.
All right, Willie Kimani there of Jazza Discounter. Like he said, it's your brand. Be sure to check out their retail stores. Of course, you can find out more of their story and about the internship programs. There's a lot also in term for you as a shopper. Check them out on their social media platforms, even their website, if you will. This has been Trendsetters. What a wonderful session we've had with Willie Kimani. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Shiku Kaitani. Let me hand over to our team from E-Nteractive of Sarah and of course Tony, the main man, who will be coming up next telling you what's trending on social media. Thank you. Bye-bye.